good evening, everyone. Welcome to the John Henry Soto Show. My name is John Henry Soto, and as always, I'm here with Mr. George Batista. And there he is. I'm going to put this back up again because this is what our show is about. So we're going to have a new book. I've been talking about this book. We've been talking about this book for quite some time. I kind of revamped a little bit of it and made it a little bit more directional to help artists and filmmakers fund projects through digital marketing, because I thought to myself, hey, you know what? I've been doing that a long time. And I said, why don't I just start giving away some of these tools that I've used and put it into a book. Now, this is going to, what I'm excited about also is that we will have, this is the first, this is an ebook. So this is the first birth of this ebook. And I'm going to be talking about this book today. I'm going to go chapter by chapter on what's in each chapter. And it's going to get another chapter, which anybody that gets this download for free will also get that one as well. It's going to have a wellness chapter, because one of the things that George and I always talk about is that in order to do art, you must be in somewhat of a decent shape. You have to, flashing the whole world here. Sorry, ladies.
See your chest hair.
Suffer. So in order to do art and to have the energy to do it, especially when you have a full-time job or you have a family, you have other responsibilities, you need your body in shape. And George is going to put together a chapter for it, maybe even two chapters, depending on what we decide. But it's definitely going to be the full package. Right now, it's just the digital marketing in there. We could have held off, but I decided, let me just put it out. I think it's more exciting that it's just out and that we can now talk about it and have a conversation about what we're doing here and the passion that we have to help people. I'm going to talk a little bit about why this came to be, and the journey that George and I have been on for a long time, and talk about the book. I'm going to break down the chapters. Then I'm going to talk about the JHS Legacy Blueprint and the website that you can go to learn more and to get the book. We'll do all that on this hour here. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. George, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Always a pleasure to be with you, sir.
Thank you. My thermos is almost the same color as your shirt.
Oh, look at that.
And that's our topic for next week, ladies and gentlemen. We have an incredible topic here. So George and I have been doing this, I don't know, for over 3 years now. I think it's coming on 3 years, or it's 3 years. I can't remember.
No, it's probably, it's over 3 years, I think.
It's over 3 years, right? Yeah.
Because we started this before. Did we start this before I started mine up again? I'm trying to remember. I know I was on your show 3 times.
That's right. That was 2020 though.
Yeah, but so you were doing this long before I was.
2020. So you came on in 2021.
Because this September for me is it makes 3 years that I started.
Yes, I remember now, because we moved from over there to Nashville, and we we were doing the show, and then we had a week where we didn't do the show because I was moving. Wow. So it's over 3 years now that we've been doing this, and one of the things that George talk about a lot, is that the evolution. This has been a process. This is an evolution. This wasn't like what this is now, and this will probably be different later on. And it evolves, but it evolves not through uncertainties. It evolves through necessity. Like we had to evolve with what we were doing. We pigeonholed ourselves in the beginning doing a Star Trek themed show, and we realized quickly, 15 episodes to be exact, that we were not uh, we were bringing in worldly topics and conversations about, how Star Trek can be used. The lessons learned in certain episodes can be used, and we started going into life journeys and a lot of motivational, I guess, talk. Not necessarily motivation because I'm not fond of that word anymore, but just inspirational talk and things that you learn about and you want to give to others. And so it evolved, and I think I don't remember when. Do you remember, George? Like when we, I remember we were doing Star Trek, and then we had a guest on that
Mm-hmm.
we had a few guests on that were on
Yep.
Star Trek, and that some of them were in the movies and the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And we had them on, and it was great talking to them because we're such fans of the show. But somewhere along the line, George and I was having conversations about this, and I don't remember exactly when, but I did go back and count, and it was 15 episodes.
It's interesting. I thought we did more, but I guess
No, I know. I thought
15.
so too, but it was like unless I missed some, but the ones that are listed, the ones that are
Yeah.
on the page, are there was 15 that I counted that were just Star Trek driven, and we did a lot of fun stuff, fun
Yeah.
conversations about Star Trek, and I enjoyed it. So I don't feel bad that we did that. I was like,
No.
that was great, and that was sort of our waters. We tested the waters there on seeing if we can do this. It was also something for you that this was a completely new thing for you.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that
I
was
mean,
something that you can kind of go into and kind of confront because you know the subject well.
correct. Because I remember I started podcasting technically like in 2012, but it was audio. I had never done
That's right.
video before, and
That's
then
right.
I did a bunch of episodes. But like my forte into video started actually being on your show,
Right.
and then at the time, and then being on other people's shows who were asking me to come on to talk about that stuff, and then it was like, okay, I should try to do this again.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started up and then you were telling me, you should try this video thing. And I was so afraid.
Yeah.
And then I just said, you know what? Then that whole concept of just push play and do your audio,
Right.
but have the video, and I was like, all
Right.
right, I'll try that. And that's what I did,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
amazing how I've gotten comfortable. But you're right. You do get comfortable because it's all practice at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's also knowing what you're
The
talking about.
subject.
Like,
Yeah,
like if
exactly.
somebody asked me to talk about Tesla engines, I'm not gonna know much about it. I'm not gonna,
Right.
I'm gonna be useless in that. But if you ask me to talk about Tesla the doorknobs, well, I have a tremendous. Do they have doorknobs? I don't even think they have doors. They have like this weird door thing.
Well, yeah,
Anyway,
because it comes out. Yeah.
yeah, it's some weird thing. I don't know. It was a bad joke. I'm not doing well today. So one of the things that we realized was that we're going into topics about life and the journey and being artists and the struggles and stuff that we also didn't want to come up here and preach, but we wanted to change the format, and change the direction. So we started with Counterparts, and that became the show for a while. For a good portion of those 3 years was Counterparts, and Counterparts. We basically that came because our favorite band is Rush. They have an album called Counterparts, and we just kind of used that as the title of the show. And then after a while, it became apparent that people were just not really finding it. Finding. I mean, we had viewers. We have people that
Mhm.
watch it, and if you look at the people as the time goes along, people do tune in, and so it's cool. But then George and Brian, and this is a story we've told here already before, but George and Brian Pierce, my business partner for JHS Talent Management, said to me, why don't you call it you? Because when you put stuff out, you have a lot more engagement in that world, social media wise. And so I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But anyway, we did one episode, John Henry Soto Show, and then it seemed like, okay, this seems people seem to be drawn to this a little bit, and so we decided to just go with that. And also with the digital marketing component that I've been involved in, and having now it all sort of come together finally, after so many years. I feel like George and myself right now are at a good place right now where we know we can be helpful. We know that for a fact. We know how to do this. We know how to have the conversations. We know we can get guests. We have tremendous guests that we can get, and we haven't yet, and we will. But we kind of wanted to. I think we kind of wanted to find ourselves before bringing guests in, and trying to figure out, well, what are we doing?
Right.
Because are we an interview show? Are we a digital marketing show? Are we a wellness show? Are we a inspirational show? It's like, what are we? And to a certain degree, we are those things. And it's rolled into the fact that we really just want to help people, and that's what this show is. It's just a help flow. We want to flow as much power and energy to people and give them the tools that we have, and help them get on the road and find their way and find their path and find their passions. And I think that's what Manuel Suarez says, the 3 Ps, right? He says passion, persistence, and patience. And these are 3 things that George and I definitely have to practice, because we have the persistent. I mean, we've been here we haven't really missed many weeks. It's been like vacation times, and maybe I think once I was sick or something, but we haven't missed in the last over 3 years now. So we've been persistent, and we've been patient, and we're continuing to do that, but we know that putting this here is, it's going to matter. And I said something to someone the other day, and they reminded me of a conversation that Rick Beato had with, oh shoot, now I can't remember who he had it with. Somebody I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody that was talking about putting stuff on YouTube and creating their show, creating a show. Oh, I remember now. I can't remember his name, but he was a great guitar player. But anyway, he was being interviewed, and they asked him, like, why do you do this? The stuff. And he said something that I never really thought. You and I had touched upon it a little bit in past shows, but when you put stuff on these digital airwaves, they're here.
Right.
They're here forever. For as long as this system's going to be in place, and there's a lot of money within the internet. So I know that there's some evil people probably trying to get rid of the internet because it connects people too much, and they share information that they don't want shared, and they want to be able to control as much of it as and we know that already, and we've exhausted that conversation. But it's still here right now. And this conversation between George and I may be seen in 100 years by our great grandchildren, and in 200 years, this conversation will be in some archive that we can put together, and people and then all the generations can go back and say, oh, they were the first.
Right.
They were the pioneers that went on to this and started the conversations and started talking about living well and doing things. And my kids could see us, they can go back and say, oh, this is my dad, 40 years ago, when I'm gone and stuff, and they can go back and be like, yeah, this is my dad and my cousin, he was his cousin. And when you think of it that way, then it becomes really emotional. Then it becomes something that you're like, wow, I'm not going to be around forever. Right. But these images and me having this conversation and sharing the love with friends and family and trying to help people and doing all I can to expand as a spiritual being, that's going to go on. Yep. And that's going to go on. And I just love that viewpoint for me. So it changed when I was thinking about that. It kind of changed everything for me. And I was like, wow, this is wild.
It's deep. It's definitely deep,
Yeah.
But you're right. It does. It really is. It's almost like those in the old days when the parent or the grandparent used to make a tape for the kid or the grandkid or something, and then you'd pop it in. As they got older, they'd pop it in as, wow, there's my grandfather or my father or whatever.
Yeah, so like photos too,
Yeah, exactly. Photos,
right. like you see an old photo. Like I have these old photos of like my grandpa. I have photos of my grandpa when he was like my age now.
Wow.
I mean,
It's incredible.
that's like crazy. And I look at these photos and I wish that it was like this, where you can hear my
Right.
grandfather talking and having a full conversation and expressing himself. That would be fantastic. But we have these photos. And now the
Mhm.
technology is getting better and better, and we're having to, using the different forms of documenting and protecting the content, and you know. I think that that's just a beautiful thing, and I love that. I love the conversation going, now with that viewpoint in mind.
Exactly.
It just shifts things for me. But yeah, so digital marketing is no, digital marketing seems like pointless now. But it's not, because it does provide you the means to um, share your art and do what we're doing. Do and express yourself artistically. So here's the I'll give the I'll try anyway, because I know I can get long winded, but this is
No.
the this is it. This is what I'm. This is what I shoot. So a while back, I was thinking about what it was that I did, or that I do, to kind of support my artistic, drive. Right. I'm a
Mhm.
creative person. I've always been a creative person since I was a little boy. I was always just into creative things, whether that was, skateboarding, roller skating, playing, even basketball. As short as I am, I
Mhm.
played a lot of ball.
And he
Uh,
was good.
yeah, and played pitching in. When we played pitching in, and break dancing and all that stuff. Yeah, I was always very creative. And
Right.
so that's always been part of my thing. And I always thought, well, what was it that I had, that made that possible? You know, and I had a good foundation, right? I had a good, my grandparents were caring, my mom was loving. I had a difficulties in certain time periods. If I go back, and there were certain years that were rougher than others, where there was a lot of things going on in my life, in my family's lives. But I still there was still love there, and there was a lot of opportunities that I was given during that time. And as I got older, I realized, okay, so you have to make yourself really good at something in order for someone else to take some notice and maybe want to work with you on something. And that was George and I sitting our asses with our instruments and spending what, 12 hours a
Jeez.
day?
Yeah.
Sometimes I would go to your
Ridiculous.
house at like on a Saturday morning. I'd get there like at 9. I'd leave at 9.
Yep. Yep. I
We
mean,
spent like
yeah.
12 hours literally just playing music and listening to music and talking about music and watching music videotapes and going to the video store and getting videos and watching performance. It was an obsession. And we made ourselves, in a very short amount of time, so good musically that when we went back to perform for some of the older folks at that time, like your uncle and some other
Yeah.
people, they were like, what
They were
happened?
shocked. They
They
were
were
shocked.
shocked, because we literally just came in and just took over, and
Yeah.
then it became the John and George vehicle, and then
Right.
that's when George, when we started then making our own bands and going out and playing with other groups and trying to find those groups. And finally, we put a group together that was really great, and we had a wonderful time doing that, and had some success, and we had a great time, and just with a great bunch of guys, right? And that took a lot. That took a
Yeah.
lot. But again, it took having those tools, and then move forward now today, right? So what do we have to promote our, you and I I guess we had the tail end of email, right?
Hmm.
We had a little
Hmm.
email. We had the tail end of MySpace,
Yeah.
right? At the tail end of our thing, MySpace came in, so we used that a little bit. It was very little use of that, but now we have a whole network of systems that we can use to market our products, whatever that may be. And
Mm-hmm.
so I said, wow, this. And I looked back at the stuff that I've been doing. I've been doing social media marketing. I've been a consultant. I've had the title of social media manager. I'm a media tech person as well now, and with film and editing and all that stuff that I've done. All I did was I sat my butt down and I taught myself how to do it. And I've said this before on the show. Every dime that I earn right now did not come with a college degree. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a college degree. I barely have a high school degree. And everything came from learning, applying, and then just falling on my face, getting up, figuring it out, doing a little something for somebody where they're like, wow, that really worked. Thanks. Making a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, and then growing it to the point where now I can get paid good money to actually sit down with someone and help them navigate through their social media marketing, through their digital marketing, video content, so whatever it may be. But it took all of that, you know. And so move forward now. I'm thinking, okay, now I have all of that, and you and I have been talking about doing this artist blueprint
Mm-hmm.
for how long? 18 months, almost two
Yeah.
years. We've been just talking about the artist blueprint, the artist blueprint. Then we named the show Artist Blueprint. That was the last variation of the show, was Artist Blueprint. And it was because we wanted to give all the stuff that we know, everything that we have, and be able to put it in one place where people can go and artists can get answers, like actual answers. And because we had all these amazing artists on our show, like Steve Smith, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and David
David Sanchez,
Sanchez, Kenny Aronoff, Oba Babatunde,
Lee Haney.
Lee Haney, all these incredible legends, really legends, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they are. On our show, we thought, wow, this is a great foundation to do the artist blueprint, And so we started doing that. And then the name changed to this. And I was thinking, well, instead of doing the artist blueprint and having people having to come here to learn, why don't put everything into a book? And don't put, and George, I know you and I would talk about this in the past, where you get a book or you get a course or you get a webinar or you pay for something and you're there and it's a lot of fluff and a lot of, it's the whole bells and whistles, but with no
Mm-hmm.
actual sound. And then at the end, you get the pitch, you get a little bit of something that you can do, and then you got to upsell to the next big thing, right?
Right.
And, which again, all those things have their place. And I've done a lot of upsell stuff. I've done ClickFunnels, and they're all very, very great programs. And yes, you can be very successful in those. But what I was more interested in was the digital marketing as a filmmaker and a musician, as an artist. Digital marketing for artists, not just digital marketing to make money. I mean, yes, of course, we all want to make money, but it's really as an artist, how do you fund your projects? How do you fund your films? Especially, these films are expensive to shoot. Bands. You gotta buy equipment. You gotta buy clothes for the shows. You gotta buy, guitars and pedals and all the stuff that you got to get. And transportation, it gets pretty pricey, plus recording sessions and all that. It's expensive. How do you fund that? And well, digital marketing is the answer. There is a way that you can dive in, right? Dive into digital marketing and learn about it. Sit down and learn about it. You can do like an hour a day of studying, and you can learn how to. And by the way, the program is so A to B. Michelle O'Neill, who's like my mentor on the program, I was thinking of doing the videos myself, but she did these videos that were so great.
Mm-hmm.
They're so precise. They were so well done and so A to B. And I was like, why would I reinvent the wheel? She has the car. I'm just going to attach a wagon to the car. And I said, can I use the videos? And of course. So I have these videos that are just great A to B, step by step, on how to set it all up. Like, if you've never ever done anything in digital marketing, this is the training that you want to get, because by the end of it, you're not only going to be able to make money selling a product, but you're going to be able to make money selling anything, any
Mm.
digital product that you want to sell. Like my book I have now, I have another book that I'm working on. I have a whole bunch of ideas now that I can implement because the digital marketing platforms are there. It's set up. I've learned so much already. So that's what this book does. There's no fluff in this. What I was talking about earlier was that you go into these books and the books have a lot of great things and a lot of pages,
Yep.
and all you need is a step one, do
Right.
this.
Right.
Step two, do this. Step three, this is what I like. And so that's what this book is. So when you go to this book, you're gonna see words. You know, I put some pictures in there of me playing, guitar and some, there's some fun stuff in there also, but the majority of it is actually words. It's gonna be to-dos. This is what you do. You're gonna go to these pages. You're gonna start accounts here. You're going
Mm.
to go to this account. Then you're going to do this. And it's all set up in 11 chapters. And every chapter is going to get you one step closer to having your digital marketing set up so you can actually build a business that's going to not only fund your films and your art, but your lifestyle.
Right.
Like right now, I work from home. My people, the working from home thing is great. It is great. But what's even better is that I go get to pick up my son from school. I get to drop him off at school. If something happens, I don't have to worry about like, oh, I got to get the time off because my son, I can always rearrange whatever work I'm doing and just say, okay, I'll be back at this time and go do what I have to do because I'm home.
Yeah.
And having that type of freedom is the best that you can have. And so that's why so that's what propelled me to really dive into this book. And I completed it while I was in Florida. While I was working there, I had some time in the evenings and stuff, and I would sit by the pool, so, working, and it was probably the most production I've done in such a short amount of time because I was away from the hustle and bustle. I wasn't necessarily on vacation. I was working I'm a media tech manager. I was still also working, but you work and you're done. And like what Rick Rubin says, and I'm a broken record when it comes to this, but he said in a clip, Rick Rubin is a famous producer, music producer. And he said, maybe your job is just your job.
Right.
Like I like my job because I get to do editing. I get to do all the stuff that I like to do. So I like my job.
Mm.
But if someone is not interested, that's their job. Just look at it that way. Your job is your job. And then if you work 9 to 5 at 5:01, your passion starts. So from
Mm.
5:01 to 10 o'clock, you got 5 hours you got to get home, you got to eat, and you got to get your passion on. Start making progress. And, you start going inch by inch. Every single day, you start learning something. And in a year, you have accomplished a year of studying in the field. It's like the 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah.
If you put in the time, next thing you know, you have 10,000 hours on your instrument and you're proficient. You're proficient in it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I think that that's part of the mindset that you have to start getting, that at 5:01, if that's your job, your passion starts. Put it on your phone. Be silly about it. At 5:01, have that phone go bing, 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 passion. And you look at it and you're like, okay, what am I doing today? And go to your plan, start planning things out and start saying, okay, today I'm going to watch these 2 videos. That's all the time I have today. Okay, good. Good. Tomorrow I'm going to write a bio for my website. Good. The next day I'm going to pay for a domain name. I'm going to look for a domain name. Good. And every single day that you're able to actually do a little bit of something, I'm telling you that a month goes by and you're like, wow, I'm almost there.
Mm.
I'm almost there. And that to me is what's exciting about the book, because it's laid out that way. It's laid out like in your face. There's no excuses. It's like boom, boom, boom. So anyway, George, do you have anything to add there? Because I went on a thing there.
You pretty much said it all, my friend.
There you go.
But I liked there's a few things in there that I like because number one, you're right. It's the whole fluff of books out there that just I've been disappointed so many times where you get a book or some kind of course or something and at the end of the day, you're more baffled than when you first before you even got it.
Or it doesn't give you the actual thing, and you're
Correct. It
kind of
doesn't give
like,
you the thing. So
yeah,
so I love a book that's really gonna say, step one, do this. Step two. And I think programs like that always are going to be more successful because
yeah,
it's a literally step by step process of what to do.
yeah,
And that, so
with
that's
video.
yeah, that's perfect.
Videos. Like
I
literally,
love
it
that.
has a video here of of them doing it, and you
Right.
have another browser opened here of you doing it.
Right.
That's how I did it.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
watch 10 seconds of it. Oh, I copy this thing. I would go there and I would copy this thing, and that's how I did it. And you know how long I have some experience in this, so I
Hmm.
know the names of things. So if you've never done anything, it may take you maybe a day longer or maybe 2 days longer than me. But I did it
Right.
in 4 days. I set it up the whole business in 4 days, and that to me was incredible that I can do something like that from A to B to have an actual business that people can, it's already tied into my bank. It's tied. They showed us how to tie everything in. It's already there. And, the book, like I said, anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was,
No, no, no. I mean, but this is all stuff we are all learning. You know what I'm saying? That
yeah,
this is good stuff for people to listen to. But the other piece to it is the hardest piece is what you said about learning and being consistently learning that thing every single day,
yeah,
right? Because that is the part you always have to fight, right? That says, well, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I don't have to do it today, and that's with anything really. but
right.
but but you're a perfect example of that, because when you put those rules in place that says from this time to this time, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to make just that much progress. It's amazing when you turn around and you look and you're like, holy cow, I did all these things
Yeah,
step by step, and I did it every day consistently. That's
yeah,
the key right there.
yeah. And, you have to also find your why, right? You hear people say
Yes.
that all the time, right? You have to find your why. What's the reason you want to do this? Ultimately, people want to make money. I get that. Money is, makes the world go round. You need money for food, for survival, and
Yep.
money is energy. There's nothing wrong with wanting money. We need money to survive. But what's your why for that money? Like for me, it's my art and it's helping people. Those are the two
Right.
things. Really, it comes from helping people and my art, right? In that order. And
Mhm.
that to me is my why. I want to take care of my family as well. But at the end of the day, I want to help people, which is my family, and I want to be able to create my art, and be able to do those two things. And so that's my why. And
Yep.
I realized for a long time ago that uh, no one's going to come and rescue you. Nobody's gonna
Mhm.
come and knock on your door and suddenly give you an amazing opportunity for a high paying job if you haven't spent some time learning about that thing, you know,
Correct.
and letting people know that you know that thing,
Right.
right? It's like people found me on Facebook for consulting jobs. The
Hmm.
job I have now was through an ad, through a post. They saw I was a filmmaker and that I do social media. That's how I got it.
Yeah.
That's how I got work. It was because I
Hmm.
was out there doing it. It wasn't a college degree, a piece of paper that said anything. It was the actual doing this. So find your why and then start doing in that direction. Start doing. And like George said, it's that hard part where you have to do something every day and stay consistent.
Hmm.
Stay consistent on it. And if you lose your passion on it, if you lose your passion, then it wasn't your passion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been involved with like, we've talked about multi-level marketing and stuff and things like that, have its place and some people are very successful in it. And, and I'm not knocking it. Some people are successful in it, but I could not find myself passionate. I could not find the passion for the products.
Right.
I take supplements,
Yep.
I take supplements, but you know how I take supplements? I say, George, what can I take for, and George tells me, and I go buy it.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my supplements. That's all I want. I don't want to sit there and tell people about a supplement because I'm not that involved in it. George is a supplement expert. He's in it. So that's why he does that. It's
Yep.
a different thing. So you have to find your passion, find your why, and then build upon the skill set that you have and start putting that out into the universe and start letting people know this is what you're doing and this course can actually help you. It's almost like, and I talk about the course. It's not a course, it's a program, but the book is free, and just like anything, people say, oh, well, is there an upsell? Well, yeah. If you want to get your own website, you want to get your own funnels, you want to get your own all that stuff. Yeah, there's a price for that, which I paid. I set it up in 4 days, and it's made me money already. You know what I mean? And it's going to make me a lot more money, once I start expanding on it, right? But it's not about that. It's about the fact that it's automated. It's set up for me now. And all I have to do right now, George, is help people. Now that's it. Now is what I want to do. I want to go live on my social media and help people, answer questions. I want to come here on the show. I want to have guests and stuff and help people. I want to go out. I want to shoot my films and tell nice stories and good stories to lift society and to change viewpoints and help people, right? So it's all set up, So if you go to, we should probably get to the book, right?
Would be nice.
Yeah, right. So hold on, where is it? So if you go to
vitaminc.com. I had to throw that one in there.
That just killed me. George and I have an inside joke on vitamin C because vitamin C is an incredible thing. And George talks a lot about it, so I always make fun of him because he's always talking about vitamin C. Hey, you vitamin C. Man, I couldn't find parking yesterday. Did you take vitamin C? No, it was parking. Yeah, it helps with parking too.
I wish it did. Let me tell you.
So if you go to JHS Legacy Blueprint.com, oh God, it's too funny. Right there, you put your email. It'll send you the digital copy of the book right away, and the book is yours. You can use it. It's going to be updated, like I said before. All books in this field have to be updated because this is technology, and industries are changing, and everything. Things change, so you have to take. You have to understand that part of it. That it's not a book that was written. Even God, just some great books that I've read. 5-6 years ago that today are sort of like seem almost silly, in now, but at the time they were great, and I still have those books because but you wouldn't give that book to somebody today because the game has changed, but this is the layest one. This is brand new. You can get it there, and I'm going to go chapter by chapter. This I'll do fast. I won't take a long time, and I'm going to block our faces, George. I guess not.
Oh,
cool. So this is we're going to talk a little bit about the different chapters. This is the overview, and amplifying your creative voice. I think is a good phrase. I like to say that because that's really what this is about. This is really we all have our creative voices, and we want to get them out there. And if you master digital marketing, and you can master and you can sell on the internet, right? That's what digital marketing. Oh yeah, I wanted to say one thing because digital marketing is what it is you have a product. Either it's a digital product, or it could also be a physical product as well. It could also be a consulting product. It could be a service that you're providing on the internet, right? Through like Zoom consulting and things like that. And all of that put together is digital part. The marketing is how you market that digital product, right? The marketing is either social media. You can use SEOs, you can use funnels, you can use Google ads, you can go Facebook ads. There's a lot of different ways that you're going to market. You can do live streams. All that stuff is the marketing part, digital marketing. So that's what it is. It sounds more than what, but it's mastering how to take a digital product, something that you have, or a physical product, and then selling it on the internet. That's what digital marketing is. Okay. And there are some steps. There are some powerful ways that you can integrate different systems together to help you lay that, get out and sell that product. Right. So chapter 1 is laying the foundation. We'll start with the basics, covering essential concepts and principles of digital marketing. You'll learn about the different digital channels and how they can be used, which is what I just talked about, used to promote your art. So the digital channels are not, people can think about social media channels. These are not social media channels. I'm talking about channels like GoDaddy, um, the System.io is another one. There's different things that we use, to as one of our foundations. A lot of these are free. GoDaddy, for instance, if you need a domain name like JHSLegacyBlueprint.com, right? JohnHenrySoto.com, George's websites, all GeorgeBatista.com. Those are all domain names, and you get those from GoDaddy, and that is going to run you probably $11 to $12 for the year. If you want to do 1 year, if you want to do 2 years, you may pay like $50 for the. I think you can do 3 years for like $50 or something like that. If you want to do long, but you can do it for a year and just get it for like $12, right? So those are the digital channels, and so in the beginning we'll talk about that. That's the first chapter that we're gonna talk about. Let me get this thing out of here because I can't see the bottom. So building your online presence. So this chapter basically is setting up your website, what I just talked about, the actual setting up. Your social media pages have to be optimized. If your page is filled with you, playing video games, or your kids or your family, but you want to get more into a digital marketing. If you want to start doing your music more, maybe you want to start selling music online, you want to start making films, whatever the case may be. Well, you have to start optimizing your social media profiles and making them look like that's something that you want to do. So chapter 2 goes all into how to do it, what to put in, what not to put in, because that's also another thing that people do that. And also developing a content strategy. You need a strategy. You need to know that you're going to go live at a certain time. You need to know that this is the kind of content that you're going to put out, and all that stuff is in chapter 2. So that's chapter 2. And again, everything is broken down in this chapter. Chapter 3, this is the social media marketing now. Now we're talking about how to leverage the platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and because each one of these is, Gary Vaynerchuk said it years ago and it still applies today, but it's sort of like saying ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS. Right. Those are the television channels that you have, right? So in today's world, we have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, right? And other platforms like LinkedIn. I didn't put LinkedIn in here, but there's a LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also part of this as well. So there's a lot of these platforms that don't operate the same. If you do something on LinkedIn, you can't just copy and paste it and throw it on Facebook and throw it on Twitter. And each one has its own specific way to leverage it, and the etiquette of each one as well. So on chapter 3, we go into the actual marketing on social media. How do you do that? Not only that, but how do you connect with other influencers? That's a big deal. People that are already doing it, connecting with them, following them, admiring their work, and then possibly getting a 10-minute call with them if you can, just to they can guide you on getting your name in their minds so they can see that you bring something to the table, because there's nothing greater that even me, I love it when I meet a filmmaker. He's like, yeah, I got a script and I'm trying to get, oh, wow. Well, do you have actors? Do you need actors? What do you need? What do you, I need some actors. Oh, I can get you some actors. What kind of, let me see the script. Give me the script. I read the script and I'm like, oh, this would be good. And I'll send, people that they can go look at, that's exciting to me. So influencers and connecting with them. I hate to use the word influencer because it's so it's been so brutalized, but just people on the internet that are doing well. Or they're doing what you want to do, right? What you want to be doing, right? Chapter 4 is content creation and strategy. You need to know what kind of content to put out. It's got to be compelling, right? You only have maybe like 3 to 4 seconds of people's attention before they start scrolling, right? So something's got to be eye-catching. It can be, and it's got to be, make it clean. Some people they think they're slick. They put like a girl in a bikini, and as you're scrolling, and then it goes into a video about somebody talking about making pizza dough or something, and because they want to get people's attention. But that right there is sort of like, it's a lie, right? It's not genuine, right? It's disingenuine, right? Just it feels like they're trying to cheat you by getting
Right.
you to stop, right? It's clickbait. So you don't want to do that. So the building a content creation strategy is tremendously an important thing to do, and to have it with storytelling techniques. This is very big. George and I, if you notice, whenever we have this show, we talk about stories. We tell about growing up. We talk about being in the band together. We talk about what it's like performing live. We talk about nutrition. We talk about our physical ailments that we handle through nutrition. We talk about our families, our challenges with our families, growing up, in challenging environments. This is storytelling. You have to be able to tell a compelling story because people will relate to it. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people in who can say like, wow, something like that happened to me. This is something interesting. I might want to look into this, or I want to pay attention. So storytelling techniques is very important. This chapter covers it all really, really beautifully. I took a lot of attention to make sure that that I give also different ideas, like I just did that right now, about where you can pull stories from. Because some people say, well, I don't got nothing to talk about. I was like, trust me, everyone has something to talk about. You can do that.
Just a quick thing on that, by the way. Every podcast that I've gone on, because I get invited on other people's podcasts, they want what they want is my story, because my story is exactly why I started my whole show to begin with. Okay,
we're here, yeah.
So I just got invited to another one that's going to be coming up soon, and a doctor, he wants me to come on and talk about my story, because they want their folks that are listening to to listen to this story and say, hey, this is something that you guys can do. Yeah. Again, 100% on that. Story is huge in this space.
Yeah, and what you do also is that you get better at telling your story, because that's right. I think that becomes part of the challenge. And what I use, I use like index cards, right? These little index cards when I'm doing a show or when I'm doing a live. I want to make sure that I get my bullet points in there, right? But now, if you ask me what my story is, I can just rat it out. I could give you, what do you want, a 60-second story, or do you want me to go for 10 minutes? I can do it either way, because I know it so well. And, it is, you have to make it compelling. You have to talk about things that maybe you're a little bit embarrassed about, and sometimes I do talk about things that, growing up, things that I was embarrassed about that happened to me. But I talk about it because I know without a shadow of a doubt that somebody out there went through the same thing. Mm-hmm. I know that they did. And if it motivates them to do something, or to at least take a look at another idea, another, a way of doing something, and shifts their viewpoint, then that's great. That's exactly what I want, right? Chapter 5 is email marketing. Email marketing is still good, folks. It's still powerful. Now the open rate, is not what it was. I mean, the open rates back, 10 years ago were like 80%, to 90% in the beginning. People would open email because email was a big deal. People get an email. Ooh, I got an email. Maybe not more than 10 years ago. I'm talking about maybe way longer than that. But people were opening emails. Today's open rate is very, very low. It could be 2%, 2 to 3%. If you get like a 3 to 4%, you're doing really, really well. But building that email list is really important, and having an offer, like the way my book, is an offer, and this is something that I also teach here as well in the JHS Legacy Blueprint. It teaches about the offers. You want to give so you can build up your email list, and you have friends and family and stuff like that. But, friends and family are great. They're going to support you, but they're not your buyers. Right. They're not going to buy from you. Friends want to just kind of see if you're doing well, and maybe they'll come in later. Family is sort of like, oh, well, you're doing something else again. Here he goes again, another thing, and it can be very cynical, and so that's part of the idea that, email marketing should be authentic, and it should be to new people. It should be for you to bring in new people interested in your product. Yes, you're going to get people that family and friends that are want to learn about the product as well, and and chime in. But a majority of it are coming from new. So this whole chapter talks about not only email marketing, but I also go into all the email services that you can get, because there's a lot of different ones. There's Gmail. There's, we talked about Proton Mail. We spoke about earlier, George. There's a lot of different email services that you can get. AOL. No, I'm just kidding. But AOL, I know people with the AOL still. But yeah. So all that stuff is in there as well. And which one is good for what you need. Some stuff may be better for other things. Gmail, like a personal Gmail account. I'll just tell you this real quickly. That's also in the course, in the program. If you get a Gmail, if you get a website through GoDaddy, right, or through any platform, you need to have a professional email. I'll tell you this right off the bat. So you're not, when you get the program, you have to get a professional, like right now, jhslegacyblueprint.com. I have John at JHS Legacy Blueprint, and I got it through GoDaddy. It's a little bit more money. It's not a lot more money. I think it was like $20 or something like that. And it actually gives you now a business model. That's through Gmail. So if you're thinking of using your own personal one, if you have one already, because some people might have a professional email, that's great, but if you don't, just realize that you do need one in order to create a business, because remember, you're charging money. You need an EIN number. You need all these technical things. The program does it all for you, and it tells you step by step of everything, but you're going to need that at that point. So just so you know that as a little side note. All right, so let's go to chapter 6 here. So SEO, SEO is a search engine optimization, and it is what runs Google. I mean, it is how Google exists, and how people find you anywhere is through how well is your SEO. Now, SEO can be a lot of different ways. They can be, it could be like it says here, the keyword research. It could be you having been on for a very, very long time, doing the same thing over and over again on the internet, and suddenly it picks you up and it brings you up. Like if you type in John Henry Soto, I don't know if it happens everywhere in the world, but I know in America, if you type in John Henry Soto, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to be, if I'm not the top guy, I'm in the first page at least, right? And that's because I've been doing this for 15 years with that name online. So SEO, very, very important. It is technical. In the program, it goes, we go into SEOs, but not heavily. If at some point, like I'm starting to do that now, I'm getting more into SEO, and I'm getting an SEO person to do my site, the JHS Legacy Blueprint site. But you don't necessarily need to dive into it right now. But in here on chapter 6, I decided to just give you all the information on it that you do need. So when you do decide that you want to start jumping into SEOs, you have all the information there, and you at least know what it is. And then when you see it in the program, if you join the program, you'll see it there, and then you'll know what it is and stuff like that. It's very, very powerful. Very good stuff. And then chapter 7, this chapter will provide you with insights into different ways of monetizing your art, basically, right? There's a lot of different strategies. This one, the digital products is what we're talking about here, but you can also do, I'm not a big proponent for crowdfunding per se. I've supported other crowdfunding projects because of friends of mine, and I give them some money for their project. But I don't necessarily do it myself. I've never done it, so I don't have a lot of experience in it. But what I wanted to do with this chapter was that I wanted to give you all the ways that you may have already done it. You may have done a crowdfunding, and there's different ones. I can't remember their names, but there's a really popular one that everybody uses. And there's a couple of I can't remember the name of the anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, it's in there. All the names are in there for the more popular crowdfunding programs are in there. GoFundMe, I guess is one of them. Right? Yeah, GoFundMe is one, right? So that's a popular one that everybody uses and stuff. but selling, this says selling art online, so it's not only art, it's your art, meaning that you as an actor, you as a writer, a filmmaker, a musician, a band, whatever it is, that's the art that I'm talking about here, and creating those digital products. So here's a quick thing: if you are an actor and you've been acting now for, let's just say, 10 years, and you've done films, you've done some short films, you've done some plays, you've done some stuff, you have enough experience to help someone who's never done it. There's your digital product.
Mm.
This is a freebie. If you're an actor and you've done it for 10 years or even 5 years, or you've done it and for a year successfully, and you've gotten on some stuff, you have more experience than someone who hasn't done it at all. Well, there's your digital product. You sit down and you write down what you learned and what they can help. You can use AI to help you with some of the stuff. You can use Google research. You can research on Google all the information, and then write your own experience, write your own, and then put it into a digital product. And there's your first digital product that you can use. Now, you don't need that with the program, because the program is the program itself is the digital product. I think there's a bug in here bugging me. But you can, once you learn digital marketing, you can do anything. You can pick anything you want to, any product. Chapter 8. So analytics and measuring success. So this is I used to not like this, and I like it now, because now you can go back and look at numbers, and you can see how many people, and it's like our YouTube channel. When you go back there and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool, people did watch. You think nobody's watching, but then you go back and you're like, oh, people are watching. Okay, cool.
Right.
And so those are the numbers, and you do have to be on your numbers. You have to know day by day what it is that you're doing. You have to keep track of what's going out. What are you putting out, and how is it reading? Like on my social media, if I put out a post on Instagram, I go back and I look at it and I see how well it's doing. Some do well, better than others. And I'm wondering, why did that do so much better? I'll look at both and I'll do a split test on them, and I'll say, oh, maybe because I was talking about this here, and over here I was talking about that. Over here I had no shirt on. Over here I was fully clothed. So whatever the case may be, you want to look at both things and figure out which one did better than the other, and then just do more of the other one, right? Put your shirt on, basically. And that's chapter 8. So chapter 9. So this is this, like I said earlier, with the things always changing here, and that's why this book will be different, except for these examples here, because I think these chapters are pretty much, they're probably always going to be this kind of thing, but it may be a little bit, the way it's done, it's different, right? So like transportation 100 years ago was still transportation to get from point A to point B, but the way we do it today is different, right? So that's kind of like what this is. And this is sort of you have to stay ahead of the curve, and this is some of the things that I think that makes a good marketer, digital marketing person, or a social media manager, or anybody that's in this space, makes them more valuable, because they can come to the table with the latest things. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations, and I'll say, oh, I literally just had a conversation with somebody. I'll say, if you keep your finger on that for 2 seconds, something pops up, and then you can actually reply directly from there, as opposed to replying to everybody. Really? Yeah, try it. And that was a simple thing, but it's a new thing that's out now, and you can do that on pretty much all social media channels. But it's not something that, if you're not following the trends, if you're not following the emerging technologies, you're not going to catch it. But keep up with it, because if you start into digital marketing, this is your business now. Your business is digital marketing. You got to learn, get in there, subscribe to like certain things that you get an email and you can read what's happening at Google. I get the updates from the guy at the Instagram, and I see what's happening new on Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg, I follow him for Facebook, and he talks about all the AI stuff that's coming up, and all the voice things and all that crazy stuff that's coming up. So I try to stay up with that, because I'm thinking in my head, well, how can I utilize it for my digital marketing business, right? That's the whole purpose of it. Chapter 10 is case studies and success stories. So I wanted to kind of give some success stories of people that are in the business, that have been in it for a long time, and what their insight is, basically, and how they actually, basically, not just their studies, but how they provide, and what it says here, provide practical insights and tips that you can apply on your own journey. So that's chapter 10. Chapter 10 is going to be really a fun chapter, and you're going to learn a lot about other people's successes. And then finally, chapter 11 is the crazy world of AI. AI is taking over. It's predicted right now that in the year 2030, that 300 million jobs will be replaced by AI. I don't know how accurate that is. That's just, I did read that in a reputable tech magazine, but this is something that you have to be aware of. There are certain jobs that are going to go away. Just like back in the industrial revolution, there were jobs that went away, and that's part of that's part of what happens in technology. Technology gets better; it can do more things, and unfortunately, there is going to be some casualties of people that are going to lose their jobs if they don't innovate and stay ahead of the curve. AI is one of them. AI. Can you go out there? I'll be right there. Sorry. My son's just staring at me. AI is part of the future, and if you don't know what's coming, it's going to bite you in the butt. So there's this whole chapter right here goes into AI. I also covered something that I heard Elon Musk talk about, because I think it's important, and it's the ethical implications of AI. There's a certain level of morality that we need to keep, and we need to be ethical when we're using AI, because obviously artists, they're trying to replace artists, with AI. They never will. AI is really not great if it doesn't have creative stuff to go on. It's just going to be as creative as people. People put stuff into it and it reads and try to figure things out. But that's part of the fear, and you have to be able to stay ahead of it, because it's so anyway, the whole chapter is about that. So anyway, the book is called JHS Legacy Blueprint. You can get it for free download, like I mentioned earlier. You get it for free right there at jhslegacyblueprint.com. When you do get the book, you will immediately get it in an email, and you'll get some other information. You'll get some information about me, my future, what I'm planning for the future. And the first 3 pages, or maybe 4 pages, are a little bit more, it's sort of self-indulgent in a way, where I talked a little bit more about my upbringing, and I talked a little bit about my past, and how I fell into music and film and digital marketing and social media. And it goes a little bit in that. It's not too long. It's not too, talking about myself and stuff, but I wanted to give you an idea of where I came from and what my background is, and why have the audacity to write a book, right? So I wanted you to get that information. So anyway, that's the book. A lot of conversation there. My throat is hoarse, but thank you everybody who tuned in. I appreciate you. Thank you, George, for sitting through that. And so we'll be back. What I'm going to be doing for the next couple of shows, George and I are going to start talking about bringing on guests and having a lot of different topics and stuff. But this book and this JHS Legacy Blueprint is going to be part of my conversation, at least. So you'll see a lot of this. If you have any questions, whatsoever, and you just you say I want to ask you a question, just send me an email at john@jhslegacyblueprint.com. So it's john@jhslegacyblueprint.com. You can ask me anything there. If you go to that website as well, and you put in your email, you get the book, and you're going to get some information on the program. And if you have any questions on the program, you can actually just call me, and I'll be more than happy to. Don't call me. Well, you can call me, I guess. But if you have my number,
everybody call them.
Everybody call.
Call them during the show.
Hello. But you can definitely reach out to me, email me. I answer every email. I am very, very good about answering emails at this stage of my career. I'm very good about it. It takes me a long time sometimes, but I can answer everything, and I do. The one thing I struggle with is replying to everyone who said happy birthday when it was my birthday.
Yeah, I tell you.
That was a difficult one. Those were thousands, and I couldn't get to everybody. I got to a lot of them, but I couldn't get to everybody. So, but thank you everybody who sent happy birthday. That was in July anyway. All right. Well, George, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all very much. I will see y'all all soon. My son is here leaning over. I don't know what he wants. You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Come on, just say hi to everyone that's watching. That's my son, Ben. He's the best. He knows that at 8 o'clock I'm supposed to be done, and then he knocks on the door. I'm like, just wait till I'm done. So, all right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. We'll see you all next week, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. John Henry Soto Show. George Batista, thank you as always. I'll see you next week. Take care. And as always,